In the heart of a lush green garden stood a little red-capped gnome named Gus. Gus had a big frown and an even grumpier attitude. Every day, he sat on his mushroom stool, grumbling about the noisy birds and pesky squirrels. Gus liked his garden quiet and perfectly tidy. One bright morning, as the sun tickled the tops of the daisies, Gus heard a rustling sound. He squinted and saw a family of bouncy rabbits hopping into the garden. "Oh no, not visitors," Gus huffed, crossing his tiny arms. The rabbit family settled near the carrot patch. Mama Rabbit had soft fluffy fur, while Papa Rabbit had big funny ears. 3 little bunnies with twitchy noses hopped around excitedly. Gus frowned deeper. "This is my garden," he grumbled. As days passed, Gus watched from his mushroom stool as the rabbits played, laughed, and nibbled on carrots. The little bunnies loved to chase butterflies, and their giggles filled the air like music. But Gus just couldn't understand what was so fun about being noisy. One afternoon, as the sun began to set, Gus noticed the smallest bunny struggling with a heavy leaf. She was trying to build a cozy nest. Gus's heart gave a tiny thump. "Maybe I should help," he thought. But the thought of sharing his garden made him grumble again. But the little bunny's efforts were so determined, Gus couldn't help himself. He waddled over, picked up the leaf, and gently placed it where she needed. Surprised, the bunny looked up and gave Gus her biggest, happiest smile. "Thank you, Mr. Gnome," she squeaked. From that day on, Gus found himself watching the rabbits with a little less grumpiness. He noticed how they shared everything, from carrots to cuddles. Maybe sharing isn't so bad, Gus thought, feeling a warm flutter in his chest. One sunny morning, the little bunnies invited Gus to play. Hesitant but curious, Gus joined in their game of hide and seek. He chuckled as the bunnies giggled and dashed around, their happiness contagious. His frown began to melt away. Gus found himself enjoying the company of the rabbits and even looked forward to their games each day. He showed them the best spots for hiding and the tastiest flowers to sniff. The garden felt more lively and cheerful. Gus realized that sharing his garden didn't mean losing it. Instead, it meant gaining new friends and many new adventures. The bunnies taught him that a garden full of laughter was much more delightful than a quiet and lonely one. One evening, under a sky filled with twinkling stars, Gus sat with his new friends. The rabbits snuggled close, and Gus's heart was full. He smiled, a big warm smile, as he finally understood the joy of friendship and community. From that day on, Gus was no longer known as the grumpy gnome but as the garden's happiest helper. With his friends by his side, Gus's garden was a magical place filled with laughter and love. The end.